Ah, WeWork, the modern-day cautionary tale of how to lose $40 billion in value and still somehow land a $1.7 billion golden parachute in the CEO's backyard. It's like watching a financial horror movie, but instead of a surprise twist, the villain cashes out and buys a private island. Let's dive into this masterpiece of corporate calamity, where irony meets incompetence at a glamorous WeWork soft launch party with artisanal kombucha on tap. The stock market, once a bustling hub of hopes and dreams, now standing in awe as WeWork's valuation plummeted faster than a skydiving anvil. Yes, the company managed to burn through $40 billion in value, a number so astronomical that even Elon Musk paused his Mars mission to ask, "What the hell happened on Earth?" You'd think it would take a monumental disaster to achieve such a feat. But don't worry. WeWork came prepared with an estimated $100 million marketing budget that it liberally set ablaze, as if money were nothing more than confetti at a tech bro wedding. With a few choice decisions more questionable than pineapple on pizza, WeWork embarked on a spending spree that made the Kardashians look frugal. We're talking about a company that shelled out $60 million on a wave-shaped headquarters and more on a private school for the founders' kids. All this while convincing investors that shared office spaces were the next sliced bread. Ah, the genius of having your very own $2 billion personal dream fund, also known as SoftBank, enabling your every eccentric decision without so much as a raised eyebrow. Meanwhile, Adam Neumann, the charismatic rock star CEO, was riding high on a wave of delusion and charisma. He managed to pocket $1.7 billion, a staggering sum that stands as a testament to the true reward of preaching about community while jetting off on your private Gulfstream. The man had a vision as grand as his hair, and when the walls came crashing down, he casually strolled out of the rubble, walking away richer than some small countries. At its peak, WeWork was a unicorn with a valuation soaring to $47 billion. That's $47 billion with a capital B, bolstered by the same kind of enthusiasm you'd find at a multi-level marketing seminar hosted by your overzealous cousin. But as we now know, it turns out that building a successful business requires more than just free beer taps and motivational posters. Who knew? The company's mission statements, crafted with the kind of self-importance usually reserved for superhero origin stories, were about as grounded in reality as a flat earther's geography lesson. WeWork wasn't just a co-working space, it was a lifestyle, a new way of living, breathing, and working. Or so they claimed, all while the company hemorrhaged cash at a rate that would make even the US government jealous. Back in the real world, brown bagging lunch was apparently not on the itinerary. The company poured money into extravagant events that included wellness retreats and a summer camp for its employees, complete with meditation sessions and outdoor adventures. Because when you're bleeding billions, what you really need is a trust fall into a colleague's arms by a picturesque lake. In the midst of this corporate circus, WeWork's business model was scrutinized more heavily than a celebrity in a scandal. Subleasing office space at a markup is a solid plan, until you realize you just can't keep up the facade forever. Turns out, when you tell people you're elevating the world's consciousness, they eventually start asking for a consciousness balance sheet and a profit and loss statement. And still, despite all the financial pyrotechnics, the one constant was Adam Neumann's knack for self-preservation. His exit package, so lavish it could have bailed out an actual third-world country, was a testament to the enduring belief that you can fail upwards with enough panache and a touch of mystique. Now, as WeWork continues to limp forward, the tale of its rise and fall serves as a valuable lesson, or more accurately, a Netflix original series waiting to happen. It's a story of hubris, ambition, and the magical ability to walk away unscathed, richer than ever, while everyone else is left picking up the pieces and swapping out the kombucha taps for a strong dose of reality. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll explore WeWork's cultural revolution, the era of bizarre slogans, and how they somehow transformed coffee into a meditation exercise. Until then, remember, if you ever think your financial woes are insurmountable, just remember, At least you didn't misplace $40 billion. Or if you did, at least you're not in a WeWork office trying to find it. As the sun rose on the much-anticipated WeWork launch, the company's executives were confident that their vision of revolutionizing the way we work would take the world by storm. With its charismatic leadership and ambitious goals of transforming everyday office space into a global community of entrepreneurial utopia, the expectations were sky high. Investors, eagerly clutching their wallets, awaited the avalanche of growth promised by the brand's hypnotic charm and its founder's magnetic personality. But, like a summer thunderstorm, disaster loomed just over the horizon, ready to pour down a deluge of dread upon the unsuspecting WeWork team. The initial signs of trouble were subtle, a few tweets here and there questioning the viability of the business model. But within hours of the launch, social media lit up like a Christmas tree. If Christmas trees were draped in red flags. The hashtag #WeWhacked trended at #1 on Twitter within days, garnering over 250,000 tweets, a number which, ironically, far exceeded the tweets celebrating the launch itself. A quick search would reveal a sea of memes mocking the brand's attempt to revolutionize office space, comparing it to a soda company trying to revolutionize water. On YouTube, the launch video faced a brutal reception. The like-to-dislike ratio was an abysmal 1-3, with more than 30,000 thumbs down in the first 48 hours. Commenters, seemingly having taken a crash course in sarcasm, were quick to point out the irony of trying to disrupt an already saturated market with overpriced rent for glorified cubicles. Influencers and industry experts released scathing critique videos that accrued millions of views, only further amplifying the backlash. As the digital torches and pitchforks mounted, the memeverse had no mercy, drowning WeWork in GIFs and edited clips that distilled the entire fiasco into a consumable punchline. The startup that sold air. The public reaction quickly translated into the cold, hard numbers that every business fears. Sales plummeted faster than a lead balloon. Previously loyal tenants began reconsidering their leases, and potential new clients evaporated like a puddle in the Sahara. WeWork experienced a staggering 35% drop in sales volume just weeks after the launch. The loss of market share was immediate and unforgiving. Once projected to capture 10% of the office leasing market within the year, WeWork now struggled to maintain a stubborn grip on even its current slice. The fall was made more dramatic when contrasted with the earlier rosy predictions. Wall Street analysts had initially pegged the company as capable of achieving a 30% growth annually, with profits set to soar past the clouds. By contrast, the actual numbers painted a grim picture, as revenue flatlined and expenses rose higher than the meticulously curated plants in WeWork's shared spaces. Desks sat empty, echoing the hollow promises of change. The expected valuation of $47 billion evaporated in a thick fog of skepticism and laughter, replaced by an eerie whisper of $10 billion in distressed whispers. Their attempt to conquer the world of co-working spaces became a laughingstock across both traditional and social media. Late-night talk show hosts did not miss the opportunity to blend punchlines about aerated workspace into their nightly monologues. One remarked, "WeWork promised to transform how we work, but instead, it's teaching us a very different lesson about how not to work." The internal chaos spilled out as well, with reports of panicked meetings and frantic attempts to stem the tide of bad press. Employees, who just weeks prior wore the company emblem with pride, now awkwardly hid behind vague LinkedIn updates about exploring new opportunities. Even the once unshakable confidence of the leadership team began to fray at the edges. In a bid to counter the negativity, hastily crafted press releases were issued, citing new business strategies and deep remorse for not meeting expectations. But the damage was done, and the public knew that a fresh coat of paint wouldn't cover the cracks in the foundation. Despite the turmoil, WeWork was determined to weather the storm. The company boldly proclaimed its intention to learn from the experience and emerge stronger than ever. But the enthusiasm was met with skepticism, with critics pointing out that the path to recovery might require more than just learning. it might demand a complete overhaul. The public's appetite for schadenfreude seemed insatiable, with every misstep picked apart with forensic zeal. The reverberations of the launch disaster extended beyond the co-working space, shaking the very foundations of the startup ecosystem. Investors, previously enamored with the idea of unicorns, began to question the wisdom of throwing cash at companies with more charisma than concrete business plans. WeWork, once a darling of the tech scene, was now a cautionary tale. It served as a stark reminder that even in an industry built on dreams and disruption, reality has a way of crashing the party. As the dust began to settle, the question loomed large. Could WeWork rise from the ashes of its launch disaster, or was this the beginning of an inevitable end? It remained to be seen, but for now, WeWork's audacious gamble had left its mark. A reminder etched in the annals of business lore that even in the pursuit of greatness, humbling moments lie in wait, ready to teach their lessons with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. And so, the grand final act of the WeWork saga unfolded with all the drama of a soap opera finale, somehow missing the attractive cast, but brimming with inexplicable plot twists. Our tale ends not with a bang, but with the whimper of a once high-flying unicorn dragged back down to the realm of reality, a place it never expected to visit. Let's start with the number, the big one that everyone will remember, $9 billion. That's right, $9 billion of market cap vanished in a flash, gone as if it had never existed. Just magical, ephemeral money whisked away like dandelion fluff in a summer breeze. It's the kind of loss that doesn't just keep financial analysts awake at night. It makes them reconsider that liberal arts degree. But hey, what's a few $1 billion among friends, right? Just one more entry in the ledger of lessons learned, and exceptionally expensively at that. And what of the captain steering this ship straight into the iceberg? Oh, the tales that could be told. But let's focus on the most astonishing part, the severance package. Our dear captain, the illustrious CEO, departed the sinking vessel with pockets deeper than the Mariana Trench. A mere $1.7 billion. Yes, billion with a B. It's the kind of parting gift usually reserved for pharaohs who've just done a spot of pyramid building, not for someone who spent the last few years perfecting the art of turning something into nothing. If that's what failure pays these days, one has to wonder what reward success might bring. Perhaps a small country or a moon of Jupiter? Now, what about the brand? Our plucky little upstart, the office space darling of the millennial generation, the workspace revolution that promised to make Mondays tolerable. What of its future? Well, reputations like Rome aren't built in a day, but they can certainly crumble in one. Experts suggest it will take upwards of a decade to repair the damage, to scrub off the filmy residue of scandal and restore any semblance of dignity. 10 years, give or take. Just imagine that. Entire crops will rise and fall in that time, children will grow into adults, and yet the WeWork brand will be there, clawing its way back from the pit of public disgrace. The irony, of course, is thicker than the plot of a Dickens novel. We were sold a vision of seamless, borderless workspaces, a utopian blend of community and productivity. Instead, we got a masterclass in high-stakes theater, complete with lavish parties, questionable financial maneuvers, and a charismatic leader who could sell ice to penguins. And let's not forget the investors, those intrepid explorers who ventured into this brave new world only to fall into the sinkhole of reality. Perhaps they too will look back on this episode as a learning experience, though one has to wonder if they will do so before or after the therapy sessions. In the end, the WeWork debacle will serve as a cautionary tale, a modern-day fable of Icarus with a lease on some prime Manhattan real estate. It will be studied in business schools as a sterling example of hubris, of ambition unchecked and notebooks filled with nothing more than dreams scrawled in the latest version of PowerPoint. So here we stand, at the end of this tumultuous chapter in the annals of capitalism, contemplating the lessons learned from a startup that promised the moon and delivered a slightly used office chair. Investors will continue to chase after the next great innovation, Startups will rise and some will inevitably fall, and somewhere, someone is already sketching out the blueprint for the next big thing. But perhaps, just perhaps, the next generation of dreamers will take a moment to pause, to think about the ghosts of WeWork past and ponder the wisdom of their own dreams. In the end, we've witnessed an epic, an expensive, bewildering, and entertaining epic. Like all good stories, it leaves us with something to ponder: the price of ambition and the true cost of chasing after the next big thing. And so the curtain falls, the lights dim, and the audience is left to wonder, what, if anything, we have all learned from this? Only time and perhaps another billion-dollar disaster will tell.